Hello, this is Bridget, if you don't know me, and we'll be moving through a Power Flow 45. So a block or two would be great. And we'll start in a seat, so coming to a comfortable seat when you're ready. Hello. So we're going to start in a seat whenever you're ready. Feel free to fidget or move around or use a prop, but essentially we're just going to get an idea of how we're feeling. So maybe rolling the shoulders a little bit up, back, and away, maybe taking some ear to shoulder drops, maybe taking some seated cat-cows. Just gathering some information about our physical state right now. Maybe the mental state as well. But try to tap into this moment with our breath. So start to move with your breath if you haven't already. Inhale in any direction. Exhale in another. Just a few more little fidgets and movements until you sort of settle into some stillness. And instead of thinking about like yanking or drawing the shoulders out of the ears, can you think about softening the sides of your neck and lifting the ears away from the shoulders a little bit? Relaxing that bottom jaw, softening through the pit of the belly. Maybe close your eyes. Trying to take notice internally where you are in space. So think about your head. We want our ears tucked over our shoulders. Notice if you're leaning forward with the whole torso, maybe if you're leaning forward with just your head. It's a really common postural thing. Trying to stack the vertebrae so that they can work more efficiently. Settling in for 5 more breaths. Great, deep breath in and a deep breath out. Great, when you're ready, uncross those ankles or however you're seated. Come back to your hands. Fingertips kind of point behind or out to the side and just windshield over those legs here. Getting a little bit of blood flow and some movement. Great, and then we're going to drop our knees all the way to the left, coming into active deer. So what that looks like is sort of a 90-90 or a pinwheel. So trying to take your heels and your knees about the same line, and then envision that right hip, or the thighs coming out of the right hip, sort of in one angle, and the left one is coming out of the other. Feet are flexed. We're sitting up nice and tall. Your right sit bone is probably not coming close to touching the earth, and that's okay. Take your hands to your thighs, so inside of your left, outside of your right, and kind of press down a little bit as you tuck your chin and lift up. It's going to be more accessible to be leaning to the left, so kind of resisting that as well. So trying to lift yourself out of that, resisting those legs. Legs are pressing down, hands are pressing into thighs. There's a little bit of resistance there. Relax your face. Breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2. One more big inhale, find some resistance. Exhale, relax for a second. Maybe relax your feet. And then shift on back to those hands again, lift the knees and windshield wiper side to side. And we'll do that on the other side. So rounding a bit so that you can drop those knees to the right, open up the legs, flex the feet, sit up nice and tall. Again, if you're leaning, that's okay, but trying to resist that leaning. So we're actually working here. Hands come under the thighs. There's a pressing down through the legs on where it's making contact with the earth, and then the hands are pressing a little bit into the thighs. There's a little bit of toning back of the hands. We're tucking our chin, relaxing our jaw, but we're trying to breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly, again, come back to your hands, lean back, and then lift those knees, windshield wiper side to side. And then make your way all the way to a tabletop when you're ready. And find some movement. Roll your hips, roll your shoulders. Maybe draw circles with your shoulders around your wrist to stretch through those forearms. Good job. We're going to get into our toes here in a second. So either coming to a position where your hands or shoulders are over your wrists, or you might need to shift forward a little bit and then curl those toes under. And then only taking your sit bones and hips back towards your heels as much as it feels like you can or that you're getting stretched. Also, option to get those forearms stretched, so the hairy part of our forearm stretched as the inside of our wrist is getting compressed. So they're both good for hydration, just different things. Different impact in the tissues, right? Both necessary here. Great, so we lift that one wrist, shake it out if you're stretching the wrist and forearm. Plant that down, take it on the other side. Relax your jaw, relax your belly. One more time. Big breath in, big breath out. Okay, shake that other side out. Plant both hands. We're going to take our shoulders, or our hands a little bit wider than sort of shoulder distance. And then we're going to externally rotate just a little bit. So fingertips point out slightly. Great, and then shift forward, uncurl the toes and pat the tops of your feet. And then kind of stick a little bit back towards your trail toes. So where my hands are, they're not sort of far enough away. So if you want, you can slide the arms forward or just kind of drop through the chest. You might get a bigger stretch through those deltoids and the back of the shoulder blades as they're drawing together. Here, we're going to start to squeeze our belly and roll your gaze forward. Shift forward enough so that you can curl your toes, but then shift your hips back. Start to push the earth away, squeeze in your midline. Try to float your knees and then slow motion transition to downward facing dog. And then find some organic movement here. So swaying your hips, bending through your knees. Try not to do, or the action of the words pulling or yanking today. Just think about this as nice fluid movements. So we're in the middle of the winter. It feels like the middle of it, right? Because we actually have some snow. So just depending on your physical body right now, try to invite some fluidity of water, noticing if you're feeling more stuck like ice. Great, and then finding some stillness, squeeze your belly, bend your knees, walk your hands back towards your feet. We're gonna halfway lift, drive through your heels, halfway lift, engage the front core, and then exhale, give it away. We do that 2 more times with your breath, nice and strong in the core to support the back and spine. Great, one more time, halfway lift. And then exhale, forward fold. Letting your upper body hang, push through your heels and roll rise nice and slow. Nice and slow. Shoulders eventually stack over those hips and then roll up, back and away. You can do that a couple times. Try to connect that with your breath. So inhale, roll up. Exhale, back and away. Great, one more time if you'd like. And then palms face forward. Inhale, sleeve out and up. Keep your arms up. We're going to bend at our elbows and grab onto something that you feel like you can. So your wrist, opposite hand, forearms, or opposite elbow. Lift a little bit more through one side, kind of tic-tac over. Breathe. Great. Lift through center, then the other side. Again, don't think or overthink alignment here. Great. Next time you inhale, lift through the crown of the head and up through the center of your bind. Keep your bind and head to a skier's pose. So squeeze your belly, bend your knees. Sit bones back, crown and bind forward. Keep your bind yet again as we inhale here and then drop into a ragdoll. So either a nice deep bend to the knees, or feel free to gently, gently, gently lock them out. Relax your jaw. Keep breathing. Squeeze your belly, bend your knees up and down, look ready. Release your body. Look forward and roll out to your downward facing dog. Okay, lift your heels, squeeze your belly, roll to your high push-up. We're going to take 3 deep breaths here, so feel free to drop to your knees. Try to work through the entirety of your hand. Notice if you're just in the heel of your palm. So nice and active, prop those fingertips, pat of the thumb, pat or mound with the middle finger. Contracting on your exhales. And then let's all drop to our knees nice and slow, still hugging into that front line and pushing your earth away. Take one more inhale. Exhale, lower yourself down. Great, tops of the feet, transition. Inhale, there's some engagement, baby cobra. Exhale, release. Close your eyes, roll through that 2 more times. Engagement on the inhale. Softening on your exhale this time. Nice and strong. Inhale for a tabletop. Exhale back to child's pose. Spider to fingers and walk them over to the right. Great, back to center, and then walk them over to the left. Great, walk them back to center, plant your hands, pull yourself to a tabletop, press yourself to down dog. We're going to bend for our left knee, and settle for your right heel. Try to draw your right sit bone backward and sort of up and away. It's the same line as your right heel, so a lot of times you kind of sway out to the side. Great, and then other side, right knee finds the bend, left heel settles. Left sit bone is trying to draw in towards that same line, but up and away as the left heel. Great, relax your both heels, push the earth away, inhale. Soften your belly, exhale. Now hug your belly, lift your heels, look forward, start to walk it to the top. Once you get there, halfway lift, nice strong core. Exhale, fold. Roll to rise, your upper body's heavy until you get those shoulders to stack. Roll them up, back, and one. Inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Bend your knees, come to spider to fingers. Step your left foot back to the back of the mat for a little runner's lunge, and then drop to your left knee. And then shift forward and backward, popping up on the right heel, and then planting and shifting this hips forward. Shifting back, pop to your right heel, and forward. A couple more times. Maybe connect this with your breath. Great, next time you shift forward, plant that right foot, lift your left knee and hop it to the top. Step your right foot back. And then find a good distance, dropping to your right knee. Settle for a second here. And then about 5 to 6 times, shifting back and forth. When you go forward, drop those hips heavy. It doesn't matter the shape. There still can be a decent bend of that right knee, so trying not to beat yourself up about what these shapes are supposed to look like. One more time back. One more time forward. Lift your right knee, hop to the top. Halfway lift, strong core. Exhale, fold. Keep that strong core rising all the way up high mountain. Exhale, slow down. Keep that strong core. Halfway lift, engage. Bend your knees, plant your hands this time. Step back to a high push-up. 3 breaths. Contracting on exhales when we're working. One more time. Great, so your toes are dropped to your knees. Big inhale, push away. Exhale, lower to it. Inhale, baby cobra. Exhale, release. Forehead down, take your fingertips wide. Elbows can either stack over the shoulders or they can point backward. We're going to try to squeeze your quads a little bit, hug your navel back towards your spine, and then just start to hug those shoulder blades together. So this might be your shape. If you'd like, you can lift your head and lift your chest a little bit, but don't force yourself into a back bend. Maybe this is just about the chest stretch right now, and then an engagement at the back of the shoulders between the wrong bones. Wherever you are, 2 more breaths. Great, hands come underneath your shoulders. Lift your feet, flex them, and from our knees, let's go up to a high push-up, nice and strong. Great, drop your toes, lift your knees, take a big breath in, and then down dog, shift it back. We're gonna step our right foot to warrior one. Big step, maybe even wider than you're used to, lift on up. Take your hands wherever it seems helpful, set your gaze, try to keep it focused. Try to work right leg, right hip, left hip in the same amount of effort. So side to side, to back. Try to lift out of your waist, lift out of your side body and spine. Take one more big breath in. And as you exhale, hands go down, left heel lifts. Step it back to down dog. Even out here for a second, and then inhale, roll to your high push-up. Exhale, lower to the earth. Your version of a back bend here, baby cobra, high cobra, or up dog. We'll meet back in down dog. Left side, big step. Warrior one. So try not to rush yourself, finding a pace where you're moving with your inhales and exhales. Again, hands go wherever, set a gaze and try to keep it nice and focused. Then work left hip, left leg, right leg, same amount of effort. Notice if you're just hanging out anywhere. And this idea of pressing down to lift and lengthen out of your waist, lengthen out of your spine, big breath in. Exhale, hands down, lift your right heel. Step it back to down dog, even out for a second here. Push the earth away, settle through your heels. Then lift your heels, squeeze your belly and pull the floor, roll to your high push. Press the earth away, inhale. Lower halfway or to the earth, exhale. Find your back bend, inhale. Nice and engaged, squeeze it in, take it back to down dog, exhale. Look between your hands, hop, jump, or step to the top. Take your feet about hip width distance, halfway lift with an inhale, forward fold with an exhale. Rise all the way up, high mountain, inhale. Chair pose, exhale, let's take our hands to our heart. So a lot of times it's super easy to drop our bellies and kind of head to a cow in our spine. So you want to squeeze your hands together and then draw those front ribs and front hips together. Even out that spine nice and long. Keep your navel pointing straight forward, but rotate those ribs to the right as far as you can until you start to feel that resistance where you want to sort of sway those hips up to the side, right? So hug in, squeeze your hands, rotate at the ribs. Relax your jaw. Back to center, slow motion to the left. Again, navel's going to point straight forward. Great, unwind. Drive through your heels. Next time you inhale, rise up. Sweep your arms out, little squeeze of the glutes, and then swan back with an exhale. Halfway lift. Take it through a vinyasa of your choice or straight to down dog. Great, take your right leg back. Do whatever you'd like for a moment here. Then open, take some circles, lift and drop your left heel. Squaring out those hips, lifting your left heel, squeeze your front body as you step to warrior one. Lift on up. Great, warrior two when you're ready. So first time here, so a little bit of effort and mindfulness to the foundation of it, what this looks like. Again, left and right legs are working, left and right hips are working. Let's turn our palms out or up to invite some opening in the chest. Try to squeeze the shoulder blades towards one another on the back, so towards the spine, but then spread your fingers and kind of in opposition, try to reach away from one another. Great, tone for that left glute. Find your reverse warrior. Arms can kind of do whatever you like, gaze goes where it's most helpful. Right knee can stay bent or slowly push your way to straighten a little bit. Take one more inhale, lengthen through those right fingertips. Exhale, cartwheel your hands, lift your left heel, take a twist. Right arm's gonna go back. I like to turn my palm out. Great, take a big breath in. Exhale, hand and gaze down. Bend that left knee so that you can help plant your right foot. And try to squeeze and lift without dragging back to a high push-up. Take another breath here. Either exhale to chaturanga and flow or straight to down dog. Great, a couple breaths here. Great. Toes together, lift your left leg, a little bit of movement here. Either more effort in the standing leg or the lifted leg, or probably that too. Great, lift your right heel, squeeze your belly, and a big step, warrior one. Opening up, warrior two. Again, creating some muscle memory for this foundation on this side, totally different side, totally different experience, just know that. And maybe palms out or up to open through the chest. And then shoulder blades are gonna hug together, fingertips are gonna spread and kind of reach. There's a little bit of opposition in the shoulders to get them fired up. And then when you're ready, next inhale, reverse your warrior. Hands can kind of do whatever feels helpful. Gaze goes wherever it works, just keep it focused. Keeping that nice deliberate bend to your left knee or slowly push your way driving through your left heel, nice and active. And then again, reaching away with those left fingertips, inhale. Exhale, cartwheel with a little bit of momentum, hugging your midline, lift your right heel, and then sweep that left arm back. Again, I like to turn my palm out. Take a big breath in. Exhale, bend your right knee to plant your left hand as you look down. Squeeze and lift your left foot, step into a high push-up. Again, stay here for one more deep breath. Exhaling to down dog, or exhale to try to run that up to a back bend. Back to down dog, exhale. 2 breaths when you get to down dog. All right, lift your heels, bend your knees. Look between your hands, half over step. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Feet hip width distance here. And make your way all the way up to a high mountain. When you're ready, chair pose, sit on down. Great, let's take our arms and shoulders into extension, so that means behind us. And then active, spread the fingers, reach and tuck your chin and lengthen the crown. Again, if you sort of drop the belly and you went into a cow pose, those front hips and ribs drone towards one another. So it's gonna tilt the pelvic ball. Great job. Now try to bend at your elbows and reach back. So if you combine, you're gonna grab opposite fingers, wrist, forearms, or elbow. If you can't, just squeeze an imaginary beach ball. Okay, we're gonna take one more inhale. Keep your mind or imaginary beach ball and start to take it to a forward fold. Great, one more inhale. With your exhale, soften your knees, release your bind. Letting your hands step back to a high push-up. Take your feet wider than hip distance and drop your heels all the way to the right. If you've got sort of a big crease at your hips and you're sort of in flexion style, shift forward so that you can be nice, long spine. We're going to slowly push to our right hand and try to take our left hand to our left hip, stacking left hip on top of right. And then I just want you to think about lifting your hips as high as you can. Try to keep them stacked. Breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. High push up. Roll those heels to the left. Push more through that left hand. Try to hike your right hand to your right hip. Again, try to stack right hip over left, and then try to lift those hips as high as you can. Think puppet strings on the top, and then the bottom ones are engaging, contracting to help lift. Breathe 5, 4, 3, 2. Back to high push-up. Your choice, flow or straight to downward facing dog. Good job. Let's hit that warrior dance. One breath, one movement here. Move with your breath. Any variations of any of the following. Toes together. Inhale, right leg up. Exhale to bend and open. Inhale, lift your left heel. Exhale, squeeze your front body, step to warrior 1. Inhale, rising on up. Exhaling to warrior 2. When you're ready, inhale, reverse. Exhale to flow. Moving with breath, not against it. Take that through the left side on your own. Couple deep breaths in your down dog when you get there. Flow between your hands. Hop over, step to the top. Halfway lift, strong core. Keep it and fold. Rise all the way up, push through your heels. Chair pose. Feet can be together or hip distance. Pull your hands to your heart. Right, rotating to the right, try not to pop those hips to the right, navel's pointing forward. Okay, we're gonna slowly take our left hand, the back of your left palm to the outside of your right knee. It's a little bit different than we normally do. And then sweep that right arm sort of out to a tan up. Navel's pointing forward, there's a little bit of resistance on that hand and thigh. Spread your right fingers, either reach out and away, or maybe try to hug the right shoulder blade on the back of the body, a little bit closer to the spine. Great, slowly close this up by reaching your fingers out and down, palms touch. Now pull onto your heart, unrotate your spine. Take a big breath in as you exhale, forward fold. Take your feet wider than hip distance, bend your knees a lot. Grab those big toes with your peace fingers. Inhale, lift. Exhale, drop. Nod your head. You can let your shoulder blades just dump into your ears. You can play around with pulling up on those big toes, bending those elbows out wide to sort of activate the side body and legs a little bit. But keep trying to drop through the crown of the head. Don't work too hard at the neck, at the base of the skull. Great. Release your mind. Shake out those hands and wrists if you need it. Yogi's choice. Garland, squatting, crow pose, or crow to the right. Since we've twisted a few times to the right, you can head that way. And you want to sort of set a gaze. So if you're headed to a balanced place, set your gaze where you're going. Maybe close your eyes. If you're headed to squat or garland, you decide here, just keep being in a place that's present in this moment. Knowing that whatever you're doing is enough. Okay, and then your slow journey back to down dog, either floating there or stepping there when you're ready. Okay, inhale, lift your heels, squeeze your pelvic floor, your belly, and roll to your high push-up. We're going to lower down on a 5 count. So if this feels challenging, you can drop to your knees nice and slow. Keep those hips pitching forward. The whole front line is engaging. The side body is engaging. The back is engaging. So try to fire up deliberately in all those places. Take a big breath in. Lower for 5, 4. Keep pushing away. 3, 2, 1. From the tops of your feet, hands are going to kind of stay where they were. So notice if you move them dramatically. And we're going to inhale, lift up to a strong baby cobra. The legs might float, hands might float. Tuck your chin. Exhale, release. We're going to do that a few times. Nice and full engagement. Big back bend, your legs might lift. Hug that ankle back. So push it forward. Your next exhale, lower down. One more time. Lift and breathe in, engage everything. Hug the ankle back, don't push it forward. 3, 2, 1, lower down. From your toes or your knees. Drop your forehead, push the earth away. We're going to go up on a 3 count to a high push-up. So active from your toes or your knees. Big breath in. Exhale, press and lift for 3, 2, 1. Lift those knees if they're not already. Exhale, down dog. Still as there's your hips, take a breath or 2. Lift your heels, bend your knees. Look forward, hop, jump, or step to the tip. Halfway lift, strong forward. Keep it as you fold. Keep it as you drive through your heels, rise up, high mountain. Chair pose, and then take your hands to your heart. Again, feet can be together or about hip distance if that feels a little bit more stable. Usually does in my body. Hug that front body together. And rotating to the left. Navel's pointing straight forward. And you're going to kind of reach both your prayer hands out towards the outer portion of your right or left thigh. So back of right palm on left thigh. Resist there and start to spread your left fingers and just sweep it out and up. So mine aren't even close to coming up to the sky. It's just out of the way, really. Navel's forward, resisting that right palm. Spread your fingers and then envision hugging that left shoulder blade, the inner border, a little bit closer to the spine. Tap your chin. Slowly, actively reaching through the fingertips. Pull that left palm back to the right. Pull those hands back to your heart and rotate your spine. Big breath here. Exhale, forward fold. Great job. Ragdoll, grab your big toes or gorilla pose. Again, if you'd like to go a little bit wider than hip distance, feel free. You can step on the palms, you can just bend the knees and take them to the earth. You can also turn your palms upside down, so palms flat, a little bit different version. Take another breath or 2, and then when you're ready, coming out again, shaking if you need it. We're going to take the same thing. The only thing that will change is the option is twisted crow on the left. But you can do something different than you did last time. But options are garland, squatting, crow, or side crow to the left. So don't overthink it. Set a gaze. Come into your breath. Again, that focus. Focus, focus, focus. And a nice, deliberate journey back to your downward facing dog. Slow in your step in there, take a few breaths. Good job, big toes together, right leg's gonna go straight back. Lift your left heel, pull your right knee to your nose as you roll forward, and then try to arch through your back. Think cat stretch. Squeeze everything in the front body to lift it up, 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 push the earth away. Try to take as gentle of a step between your hands, and if you can't make it, no worries, touch it down and then get it some help looking forward. Drop to your left knee. Let's just shift forward and backward a few inches here, getting that front left hip flexor sort of primed. Okay, and then let those hips be heavy forward. Squeeze your navel back so you're engaging that front body. That should also pin that front hip flexor on the left side. Stay low, blocks up to your thigh or hands to the sky. The back leg, you could have your toes curled, or you could be on the top of your foot and maybe pressing down a little bit. If your arms went up, you can reach up a little bit more through the left hand or elbow. If your arms are down or on something, cool, pin your navel back, keep pinning it back in both variations though. You could look to the right a little bit. Right, everybody inhale here. And as you exhale, take your gaze forward and everybody hands down. We're gonna curl our left toes, lift our left knee, and then shift it back a bit. So drop it through the head, you can shift forward and backward, or you could just land sort of backward and pause. Try to not hold your head up awkwardly and engage the base of your skull in the back of your neck. Try to soften it. Breathe a nice and active, squeeze your belly, lift your left heel, roll forward, right knee over heel, push down, and then lift with the back line. Lift with the back of the left leg, the back of the left hip. We're gonna take cactus arms, we're gonna draw our chest forward, but we're gonna keep hugging our navel in and maybe bending through that left knee a little bit to draw our tailbone sort of down. So I want the back bend and the opening to come through the thoracic spine and a little bit at the neck and cervical spine. So the shoulder blades are drawing in, lifting up and away with that chest and sternum. Great, one more breath here. And then pull your hands to your hearts. Open up to warrior two. Great, inhale, lift and straight. Exhale, press. One more time, lift and straight. Exhale, press. And then whatever you feel primed for, extended side angle, we keep a nice bend to this front leg and it's active, we're not just hanging out on it. If you'd like to take triangle, push the earth away, work both legs nice and strong, all those hips and abs have to work, especially in triangle. So you decide triangle or extended side angle, foundation, navel down, everything's working. Try not to hang out in your left side, either shape. Okay, roll your gaze down, push down, and then take yourself back to warrior two. Lift and straighten, Prasarita, turn your toes parallel towards one another. I'm gonna turn around just so I'm not facing the wall. Great, let's take our arms up to the T, inhale, sweep up. Exhale, forward. Jump through the crown of the head. You can drop your arms in front of you, you can walk in between your legs, you can grab your big toes. If you have an inversion practice, feel free to play around and get upside down, but we're gonna take about 10 to 15 breaths here doing whatever you would like to do. Start to come out of your shapes of your binding or upside down, nice and slow journey. Eventually, head above heart. Head above heart, however, you need to get that position. Perhaps better, your fingers are dropping through those hips. And roll it forward to a low runner's lunge. Switching my legs so I don't confuse our cues. We're going to take this more to a pyramid. So one more option to get the back line. Right foot's going to walk out wider, and then that left foot's going to hop up and out. So spider to fingers, blocks are great here. You can also hug in and lift up to your shin. If you'd like to add a twist, I don't want you to go crazy far. Remember when we had our hands in our heart, it was rotating through those ribs again. So a nice thing to think about, or a placement, is taking the right hand to the sacrum and then just rotating open through that right pec. Maybe even keep your gaze down so that your nose and your navel are pointing straight down, so you have sort of a visual marker here. Wherever you are, one more big inhale. Exhale, unwind. Bend both your knees. So take your hands to the earth. All right, so we're gonna push the earth away. Step that left foot to a high push-up. Lift and step the right foot to meet it. Shift forward and then drop to your forearms. Try to keep your pelvic bowl nice and stable and flat. You have the tendency to rock side to side, a little bit more challenging this way. I want you to try to relax the sides of your neck, relax your face, but then everything else should be online, buzzing and working. Push the earth away, hug in, especially that front body. So especially everything, but that front body tends to sort of weaken inside. So front of the shins, front of the quads, navel's hugging back, resisting gravity, right? Push your earth away with elbows, forearms, hands. Keep that working as you slowly lower to Sphinx. So don't give up on all that effort in the front body. Keep working, until those thighs and hips drop. Then start to soften the front line and transition to Sphinx. Try to lift and lengthen from the navel up to the heart center. Good job. And then when you feel ready, slowly wiggle your elbows out to the side, drop to your right cheek. You can bend your knees and windshield wiper or just kind of pause in stillness, depending on your lower back. You can slide your right arm out to a T or a cactus arm. Stay on the right cheek. And you can bend and open. You could just use sliders of fingers on your left hand and cross the left shoulder blade back to stretch the left pec as well. Great, slowly coming through center, and then take that on the other side. So left arm to a T, left cheek down, or cactus. Again, you can bend and open, stacking calves, dropping right leg back, or maybe it's just a little bit more helpful today to push the earth away slightly with those spiders of fingers on the right hand. Great job. Come back through center, hands underneath your chest. However you'd like to transition with an inhale or an exhale, but we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Great, hitting up this last side to finish up our standing practice. Big toes together, left leg's gonna go straight back. Lift your right heel, actively point through your left toes, squeeze your belly, your pelvic floor, and then pull your knee forward as you roll into your high push-up. And then push the earth away. Cat stretch in the back, nice and active. Keep pushing the earth with your hands. Try to take a big gentle step between them. If it only makes it halfway, just give it some help to the top and adjust your legs to drop down to that right knee. And then just in and out of this a couple of times, in and out with those hips, forward and backwards, priming them slightly. They haven't already been. Great, and then try to stay in that forward pitch of the hips so they want to be heavy, so let them be. But draw your navel back. And then remember, if you're gonna stay low or on blocks or up on your thigh, you're gonna keep hitting that navel back and you're gonna look to the left. That sort of stimulates that spiral line. Otherwise, if you went up to the sky, don't force it. You can kind of reach up a little bit to that right hand, or if you're binding up to that elbow. Navel is still pulling back, so just hitting that spiral line in a different way. Everybody take another deep breath in, and with your exhale, slowly come out. Great job. Curl your right toes, lift your right knee. If you need to shorten your stance, feel free. We're going to shift it on back. And then if you need a few times, forward and backward, or come up to blocks for sure. And then again, if you're holding your head awkwardly, remember the base of the skull, the back of the neck, try to drop it. You can still move forward and backward, otherwise just pause in stillness. We'll take 2 more breaths. Just squeeze your belly, lift your right heel, shift forward. So left knees over left heel, push it down, and then engage everything on the front body, and then the back body lifts you up. So squeeze everything on the back body. Great, lift your arms up, lift your gaze up. Cactus arms. I want you to think about bending through the right knee a little bit so that you can hug in and draw that tailbone down, pelvic bowl up. But then the back bend, the opening, think about the thoracic and the rib cage is what's trying to extend. Drawing the back of the spine together around the rib cage, which can be challenging. So know that this could probably be a really subtle opening here. A lot of times we just dump into the lower back and think we're in this major heart opener. No judging. I do it too. Great, slowly pull your hands to your heart. Take a big breath here. Exhale, open up to warrior two. So new footing, new foundation, right? Settle into both hips working, both legs working a couple times. Let's get out of that front thigh though. Lifting with an inhale, settling with an exhale. Check out your hips, check out your energy level, extended side angle or triangle. In both versions, we're working both those hips, working both those legs. It's going to be more challenging in triangle because all those spinal stabilizers really need to turn online or be working, right? Zipping in to support us in gravity. There's a little bit of helping when we're extended side angle, right? Because that knee's bent, we can use our forearm, but it still means we're working, pressing down to hug in and then extend out. Great, so notice if you're forgotten about this right hip or right side, press down with the left heel, engage this right side, lift yourself back up. Inhale, lift and straighten, cross the right other side. Left foot comes parallel. You can turn your toes out a little bit if you'd like, externally rotating slightly. We're going to be forward folding with a bind. So take a bind that works for you. You grab a towel or imaginary beach ball we're squeezing, but lift through the center of your chest, hinge at your hips until something on the back tells you to stop, right? And then you honor that and stop. Then we drop over our head, and then we see about taking it to a different position if we want it. So typically we can move our shoulders a little bit more effectively when we're in a forward flexion of the spine. So you might notice when you sort of went deeper, your arms or your bind was a little bit easier, so that's cool. If not, don't worry about it. Don't overthink it, don't force a stretch. Also, if need be, probably should have said this first, but you probably know, bend your knees if you need it. We don't want to yank or pull or overstretch in the back line. Great, drop the crown of the head. Take one more inhale. As you exhale, release your butt. Fingertips come to the earth. And let's take it side to side a little bit, trying to hit that inseam. So maybe either flowing up and to one side, up and to the other side, or maybe you just pause and sort of linger and bounce a little bit. Sometimes this bouncing can be really effective on tissues versus a static hold, especially depending when you feel really tight. Great job. Let's come back through center when you've hit both sides evenly. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Low runner's lunge. Left foot's going to go out wider, and then that right foot's going to hop up and out for pyramid. So again, spider to fingers, hug in, come up to that shin, relax your sofa, whatever you got at home. I like a long spine, even if I'm sort of in a forward pitch or really high. But then if you'd like to twist, left hand to the sacrum, it's going to help hug into the midline and rotate sort of more safely and effectively at the ribcage and thoracic spine. Keep breathing. Great. Exhale, look down, bend both knees. Spider to fingers. This time we're going to hop our right foot to the top, and we're going to come to a toes pose squat. You can stay on fingertips, on crofts. You could pull your hands to your heart for a challenge. You could take them out and away from you for a challenge, right? The further we take our limbs away from our center of gravity, it can be more challenging in balances. And if they're not already, hands come to your heart. If you're using them for props, we're headed to a high boat. So just start your journey there. You could hug it and drop your bum. You could rock and roll. Just be mindful if that's helpful on your spine or not. Drop those heels, flatten out our feet. Take your arms like you're holding trays on your hands, and then squeeze those shoulder blades together. And I want you to think about firing up the space in the side body underneath your armpits. Try to squeeze your glutes, your hamstrings, push your feet down that line. Fire up your calves too. And then navel to spine, ribs and hips on the front body hug together. So you kind of come into a crunching sensation and then roll back. And then hug those elbows and hug that side body. Palms are up, spread your fingers. Keep pushing your feet down. You're going to keep doing that piece by piece until you find a place where you're fully challenged, right? That could have been that first transition like it is for me. My feet wanted to pop up. So hug in, work the side body, work the front body, work the back body by pushing those feet down. We've been doing all that, right? You're like, just shut up and start counting. 5, 4, 3, 2. Try to be active. Maybe pretend like you're grabbing a rope and lower yourself all the way down. Full body stretch. Soften through the front body. Go slack there. If you reach a little bit through Opposite toe and hand. And then the other side. Right, and then slowly hug one knee in, followed by the other. Relax your face, let the back of your head be really heavy. So your lower back, when you draw your knees in, should round a little bit. It might be easier to make contact. It might feel nice to massage it by rocking a little bit side to side. You can take happy baby. You could sort of take butterfly on your back. You can take your legs up to the sky. Let's give this just a moment or two. And then making your way to some stillness, maybe constructive rest. Trying to let go of the effort of doing. Softening, loosening your grip, settling into that back body. Relaxing to the features of your face. Great, taking 5 more breaths where you are. And then feel free to stay as long as you like, or if you'd like to start waking yourself up, take a deep breath in, and a deep breath out. A couple more times, maybe start to invite movement as you do that. Again, maybe there's a hugging in sensation, maybe there's a reaching out, relying, stretching. And you can, again, stay on your back where you are, or you can just gently, slowly make your way to a seat where we began. Try to stack shoulders over hips and ears over shoulders if you came back to a seat. Allowing your spine to support itself a little bit easier. Softening your efforts around it, taking your hands to your hearts, bowing with grace, with gratitude. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope you feel a little bit better, maybe a little bit more grounded than when you started. Deep breath in. Namaste. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Bridget.
Oh, thanks, Kathy. Enjoy your day.